There we go. And go. Let's pick her on up. There we go. And birch bark burns really, really well. Hey guys, so today I want to go over Ferrocerium rods, or Ferro-rods, or fire steel as they're commonly called as well. And I also want to do a review on this one right here. This is the HD6 I picked up from Self Reliance Outfitters. This is the biggest one I've got, and I wanted to show you guys how it works and give you guys my thoughts on it. So what is a ferro rod made out of? So ferro rods are a metal alloy that contain iron, magnesium, cerium, and a few other metals that basically make this alloy a pyrophoric alloy, which means taking a harder steel like the striker that comes with ferro rods, or the back 90-degree spine of your outdoor knife, taking that, applying that pressure, and then striking and scraping off the metal materials, you're shaving that metal off. And what's happening is that pyrophoric metals, those are going to oxidize and then combust with enough friction from scraping off. And it's going to make these sparks that come off that'll be over 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is why these work so well as fire starters. So this new ferro rod in particular is much bigger than the other ones I've had and used. I haven't even touched this one yet because this is like the backup. Super tiny, super small. And this is the first one I've ever got. As you can see, with enough use, it'll really start to wear out. But I've used this a ton of times. I've had this thing for years. This big guy is going to last a lot longer, and it's going to shoot much bigger sparks. So I would definitely recommend, if you get a ferro rod, have a 6-inch long, 1/2-inch wide one like this, and then have a few smaller ones for backups. But one of these will last much longer and much bigger sparks. So why use a ferro rod in general? Well, if you like camping or hiking or survival or prepping, whatever, or if you just like making fires in your backyard, it's good to have something like this because it is reliable, it will last a long time, and it can be used in foul weather, windy conditions, raining, etc. It's still going to work, it's still going to make sparks. Now, if you do like to do those things such as hiking and survival, etc., obviously have a lighter or some matches or whatever else you have, but you should still have one of these. Yes, a lighter can work and a match can work, and it's instant gratification. You've got instant flame pretty much, but those resources will eventually run out. You've only got so many matches, you've only got so much fuel in your lighter, whereas this thing's going to last 10 to 20,000 strikes, easy, and that's a ton of sparks. It's a lot of potential fires. So that's the main thing. Use those lighters and matches for instant gratification. Still have one of these in your pack because this can save your life, this can last a long time, and it can be used in bad weather conditions. The biggest con between a ferro rod and a lighter or a match or whatever is that it requires more skill. That's the main difference. It requires a bit of skill to develop, to understand how to use a ferro rod, different ways to use it, and what tinders to use with ferro rods. The tinders are actually one of the most important parts. And once you got a good grasp of how to use certain tinders, whether they're synthetic or they're natural, that will help determine how successful you are. Lighters and matches, they're pretty easy to use, but they're more expendable. Ferro rod requires more skill, but it'll last a lot longer. Alright, so what are some natural tinders that will accept sparks from a ferro rod? Well, here are two of the best. It's going to be Fatwood and birch bark. So birch bark it has resinous oils in the bark. It doesn't matter if it's paper birch, white birch, or yellow birch, river birch. All those different trees of birch are going to have these kind of oil properties in their bark. Now, it could take sparks just like how it is right now, and it could still work, but if you process it down more, tear it in little pieces, or take a scraper of some kind, the blade of your knife, and scrape, make a little pile of fine powder, that'll accept a spark really easily, and then it'll catch in a flame and burn really well. Even if it's wet, the resins make it essentially waterproof. Same thing with Fatwood, waterproof, windproof, all that good stuff. So fatwood comes from coniferous trees, evergreen trees. Pine is obviously one of the most popular ones, but you can find it in spruce and fir and other conifers. So what it is basically is when a tree dies, all the resins in the branch will start to, on all the branches, all the resins in all the branches will start to pool down to the tree itself, that shoulder where the branch meets the tree. If you saw that off, you'll find some basically wood that's been impregnated with resin that's crystallized, and now it's also rot proof, which is very useful. And also the base of the tree, the trunk. If the tree's dead standing, if you chop it down, look at the trunk, it might have tons of fat wood. Or if a tree's fallen over and it's dead, check the trunk. There could be tons of fat wood there as well. Yeah, basically dead trees, the resin pools, it hardens, crystallizes, you got fat wood. And those are two of the best because they work really well, and they also can work whether it's wet or snowy or whatever. They're going to do a really good job. Other natural tinders, ones that are not as good but they're still good, cattail. You can fluff them up, process them down, fluff them, expose all those fibers. It's going to be really quick. It's going to be like a flash tinder essentially. It's going to accept the spark well, turn into flames, but it won't last very long. So that's when you come in with other tinders or whatever, like dried leaves, pine needles, dried ones. You can help augment that flame and make it last longer once you get going. Another example of a natural tinder, chaga. It's a mushroom fungus. Once you get the sparks on there, it'll smolder. So you can breathe on it and it'll start smoldering more and more. You can take that, put it in a bird's nest that you constructed out of some other tinder materials, and then blow it into flames. Okay. So we're going to talk about some synthetic tinders really quick. One of my favorites is dryer lint. I recycle it. You can just pull it apart, fluff it up. It's going to take a spark really easily. I actually have, in this guy, it has a container here. I've got some dryer lint and fatwood combo that I processed down. So I've got that all in one little package. It's pretty cute. Cotton balls, that's another easy one. Take some cotton balls. It's going to be a flash tinder. It's going to catch quickly and it's going to go out quickly. You can actually extend the burn by taking a cotton ball and dipping it in Vaseline if you have it. You could prepare that prior or keep some Vaseline on you if you want, but that's going to extend that life of that flame even greater. Also, what I like to do is on a big Ferro-rod like this, I wrap some Gorilla duct tape. So duct tape in general is flammable, but Gorilla, it sticks even better, and I like the look of it. And yeah, so I wrap this around because it is essentially a little handle. It's more comfortable to hold. But in a pinch, if I'm out and I don't have any other tinders, I can take this off, process it down into little fine strips, and then light that bundle up, and that's going to burn for a good amount of time. Then obviously you've got man-made tinder sources like this Pro Camp Tech fire plug. Whoops. But yeah, I got a video of this already. You guys check it out. But yes, those are just some different tinders. We got natural ones, unnatural. Let's go outside and test them all out, okay? All right, so I processed down some fat wood. I just took the scraper on the back of my Ferro-rod right here, and then I just scraped until I had enough of a pile. So next, I'm going to show two ways I like to use a Ferro-rod. First one is stab the 90-degree angle right in there, that spine, and you cant it till it's 45 degrees, and then with that pressure, you're just going to pull back. Okay, it's going to lob some sparks. So that's push. Another one is hold, and you're going to pull the Ferro-rod back. Initially, when I first started, I was doing pretty much all pushing forwards, and I was accidentally smashing my tinder bundles, and it was annoying. So depending on the type of tinder, yes, you can pin your Ferro-rod and then make some sparks that way. But for a lot of tinders, you don't want to smash them with your hand by accident. So I like to pin, place, aim, and pull back really hard. So let's try that out. And you can see it keeps burning. Got some smoke going there. There we go. That's going to burn really good. It's going to burn for a good while. And then you can put some other tinders on there, obviously, and you'll be good to go. Alright, so we're going to do some birch bark next. And for this, you're going to want to process it down into a fine powder. So on the white side, take your knife, sharp side, and you're just going to scrape back and forth. Scraping that off, making lots of little fibers if you can. It's good to start from one side actually and then push into the center. You're collecting all these fine little pieces and powders right there. And then you can also flip it around. And then do the other side. Okay, once you got a little bundle, then you can get your spark, you can get your Ferro-rod and do the same thing. Let's see. There we go. And birch bark burns really, really well. It's gonna burn for a while. Obviously you can pick it up, hold it up, that flame's gonna climb. And it's gonna go for a good bit. This gives you a chance to put on some more tinder or some kindling on there and make your fire. Okay, next is the dryer lint for the synthetic stuff. Just want to spread that out. Expose some more of the fine fibers in there. More surface area. Get that in a little bundle. And then same thing. Just gonna come down here, aim, and go. And it's gonna go really fast, so if you're able to get some flame on something that can burn longer, like birch bark, then that's a good idea. Alright, lastly we're going to try out the bundle of Gorilla Tape. See that? Okay. Now for this one, we can just come straight down, nice and close to it. Let's pick her on up. Flames rising. Alright, so I think that the HD6 Ferro-rod from Self Reliance Outfitters did a pretty good job. I'm definitely happy with it. I like that it's 6 inches long and it's pretty thick. It's going to last a long time.
That's what she said.
It also came with this cool paracord lanyard and this nifty striker. So the striker has bottle opener, tinder processor, and a ruler on both sides. And yeah, it's very useful. This thing is going to be my primary go-to right now. I got some backup ones and definitely recommend you get one. If not this one, get one at least this size. So hope you guys learned something about ferro rods today. Hope you guys learned some more about tinder and how to use ferro rods. So thanks for watching, and until next time, see you guys later.